For this week's assignment, you are going to be taking a look at all of the things that we've done so far in heredity. This is called the Smiley Baby project. So, you have a whole week to finish this one project. I shouldn't see anybody turning in any late projects, because this is all you need to do this week. So, this is called the Smiley Baby project. It's really important that you watch the instruction video that will be down at the bottom. You're going to need a penny or some other kind of coin to do this assignment. Download the questions and make sure you save that file. Make sure you follow the instructions and follow through with this video very carefully. Save your files. You'll end up with at least 2 files, and then when you're ready, attach them to the submission box. The point values for this project are as follows. The first worksheet, which is called the Smiley Baby Data, and that is here where it says Questions Smiley Baby Project, that's worth 26 points. The Smiley Baby Face, which you are going to draw using Microsoft Word, and I'll show you how to do that, that's worth 12 points. The Smiley Baby Wrap-Up, page 1 is worth 61 points and page 2 is worth 50 points. So you can see this one project is going to be quite a bit of time and effort this week, but it's not difficult. If you've been keeping up with what we've learned, this project should be easy. It might take you a little time, but I don't think it'll be too bad. So let's get started. First, we download our Smiley Baby questions. When it says Open with Word, click OK. And here's what you should see. Since this is a Word document, you're going to be able to type your answers right into the data table. Let's start with Part A, Smiley Baby Face Traits. For this part, you will need to flip a coin for each parent to determine which allele they give to the baby. Let's take a moment and look at all the traits that we are dealing with here. You're going to be looking at the genes, and this is of course pretend genes, but you're kind of looking at the probability of what a child would look like from 2 different parents based on face shape, eye shape, hairstyle, smile, ear, nose, face color, eye color, hair length, freckles, nose color, and ear color. And these are of course made up traits. I'll show you an example of what your quote-unquote Smiley Baby is going to look like a little bit later. So let's go back up here to the directions. Number 2, you're going to flip your coin for each of the traits that I just mentioned. If you flip heads, you're choosing the dominant allele, which is the capital letter between each pair. If you flip tails, you're choosing the recessive allele, or your parent is giving the recessive allele to that child, and that would be the lowercase letter. So each time you flip the coin for the mom, you need to highlight the correct letter using the highlight tool on Microsoft Word. So I have my coin. I'm going to flip it, and I got heads. So for face shape, here's my highlighting tool. Click on that. For face shape, the mom gives a capital letter because I flipped heads. Flip the coin again. Dad also gives a capital letter, so I highlight capital C. Now I flip the coin twice for eye shape. For eye shape, Mom gives a capital E. And flip the coin again. Dad gives, I got tails that time, so Dad is giving a lowercase e allele. And let's do this one more time. For hairstyle, I flip the coin and Mom is also giving a capital or a dominant allele for this, and Dad is giving a dominant allele. And one more for smile. Let's see if I can get 2 recessives. Flip the coin. I get tails, and there we go. I get tails again. So I've demonstrated a few of the traits after you flip the coin. Now let's go over here and take a look at what I would do in the genotype column and the phenotype column. I'm going to turn off highlighting, Now I take a look at what I've highlighted in each column for mom and for dad. And all you have to do is type those two letters. If it's capital, type capital. If it's a lowercase letter, type lowercase. For I shape, I had big E from mom and little e from dad. Be really careful that Word does not automatically capitalize your letters. If it does, and that doesn't match what you highlighted over here, then I'll be taking off points. So be careful of automatic capitalization on this. So hairstyle, big S, and smile is little t, little t. Okay. Now let's look at the phenotypes. To find the phenotypes, you actually need to open up the next file that says Smiley Face Traits. I'm going to put this file over here, and notice this first part looks basically just like what I just showed you. You can't type anything in that though. What you need is the second page. And I'll pull my Word document back up. Okay. Genotype of the baby for face shape is big C, big C. If I look over here, I'd see that for face shape there are two options, either circle or oval. The dominant trait, and I know this because it has a capital letter, is circle. So anytime I have a dominant allele in the genotype, it's going to show the dominant trait from one of these traits over here. So under phenotype of the baby, I have two capital letters. That means it would show the dominant phenotype. So that would be circle. The next one is I shape. Notice the letters here match the letters here. For I shape, I have big E, little e. Well, anytime there's a capital letter, it's going to show the dominant trait. In this case, that would be star. For hairstyle, my options are either straight or curly. I have big S, no question there. That would be straight. And, oops. The last trait that I showed you was smile. The dominant trait was a thick smile, which would look like this, but since this offspring, this child, received two lowercase t's, it has a thin smile. And that's all I'm going to show you for now. The rest of them, I do want to point out some things over here. Face color and eye color, hair length and freckles, they don't have pictures to show what I'm talking about there, but it just means long or short, present or absent. Nose color and ear color. These two traits work a little bit differently than all of the rest of these. Notice here for nose color, you have three options, red, orange, or yellow. These two traits are called these two traits don't follow the same rules as the dominant recessive rules. There's a mix color in between. For ear color, your choices are pink, purple, or teal. So that means over here for nose color, if you flip heads, you're choosing R. If you flip tails, you're choosing Y, just like it would follow in the column here. So if one parent gave capital R and the other parent gave capital Y, the genotype of the child would be RY. And according to our chart over here, RY would be an orange nose. If they both flipped heads, RR, that would be red nose. If both flips were tails, that would be YY, which would be a yellow nose. Hopefully you understand how that works now. Once you have come up with all of the traits, genotype and phenotype, of your baby, it's time to move on to Part B. Part B asks, is it a boy or a girl? To determine whether your baby is a boy or a girl, the dad, in this case that's still you, should flip a penny one more time to determine which chromosome he gives to the baby. Why do you think it's just the dad that determines the sex of the child? If you look at the chromosomes that each parent has to offer, mom can only offer an X. Dad can offer X or Y. As you flip your coin, if you flip heads, dad gives an X. If you flip tails, dad gives a Y. So you would fill in your chromosomes just like you did for the traits up here. Highlight X for mom and either X or Y for dad. Combine them in the genotype and then write down the phenotype. If and this is also on the face traits down here under sex, if the dad gives an X, the baby is female, and to show that you'll add a pink bow in her hair. If the dad gives a Y, the baby will be male, and you'll add a blue bow in his hair. Okay, now it's time to draw a portrait of your Smiley baby. We're going to continue using this guide, and we're going to use the tools in Microsoft Word to draw the baby with the correct phenotype for each trait. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, at the bottom of this assignment, if you just hit enter, you should be able to come up with a second page to do your Smiley baby. And let's start with the face shape, which was the circle. So if I go back down here to where I'm drawing my face, all your Microsoft Word shape tools are under the Insert menu. Actually, I'm going to put this full screen. It may make it easier for you to see. In the Insert menu, if we go to Shapes, we're looking for a circle. It's under Recently Used, or sometimes it's under Basic Shapes. And I'll show you how to make the difference between a circle and an oval. If you're drawing a circle, as you draw it, try to make it as close to a circle as you can. These allow you to change size and shape, and use as much of the piece of paper as you can, but remember, you need to leave room for ears on both sides. You need to leave room for hair sticking up. So that's a circle. If your baby had an oval shaped face, all you'd have to do would be draw your circle a little longer. Not quite so long as to go off the edge of the paper though. See? Let me shrink this down so you can see the whole thing. But our baby had a circle face, so I'll round that up a little bit. Okay, next trait. Next trait is eye shape. Eye shape for this child was a star. Go back to Insert, go to Shapes, and your stars and banners down here give you the two that you need. You're either choosing a regular shaped star, 5-pointed star, or if you had a blast shape eye, you're choosing this one that says explosion. I'll draw one of each so you can see. This is what the eyes would look like. Now, one of the other features of your child is eye color. So the eye color, if we take a look back here, eye color is either blue or red. Here's how to fill in your shape with the correct color. Let's say the eye color was supposed to be blue. If we go back here to Insert and we double click on the shape we're looking at, then it's giving me a variety of shaded in options, and you would choose blue. If the shape that you're asking about or trying to fill in was supposed to be red, let's say you don't like this particular color red, go over here to Shape Fill, and it gives you standard options, or you could say more fill colors, and it would give you a whole variety of options. Okay, so we have our baby's eyes and its face. Next trait. Hairstyle. Let me show you hairstyle. If we go down here to Insert and Shapes, under Recently Used, under Lines, you are looking for this one at the end. That's kind of a freestyle shape, and it lets you draw it however you want it to be. But when you're finished with it, you can still move it around, which is kind of nice. So this would be curly hair, and if you want to keep that and copy and paste it several times, then you get some curly hair sticking out. And you can drag those over to wherever you need them to be. Okay? Alright, let's see. Ear style, nose style. Nose style, let's do smile actually before we go to that. Smile is either thick or thin. For our child, or the child that I had, the smile was supposed to be thin. So I am looking for this moon shape. Now, right now it's not facing the right direction. If I click on the green circle, let me zoom in so you can see the green circle, that allows me to turn it, and then I can pull any of the corners to lengthen it or change its shape. If I need to make it thinner, go down to the bottom, and I can make it as thin as I need it to be. You can fill in the smile if you wish, or you can leave it unfilled in. That's the smile. The background of your face color will need to be colored in. Nose style is either a triangle pointing up or a triangle pointing down. We talked about eye color. We didn't talk about hair length. The hair for your baby will either be short or long, and you can do that after you've drawn the baby's hair. You can either shorten it or lengthen it for whatever you need it to be. You can also, of course, draw hair coming down to the sides if you prefer. And ear style. Ear style is a little tricky, so let me show you how to find ear style. The ear style is supposed to look like either curved or pointed. So if we had a curved ear style, you could use these brackets. This would be curved, and you could pull this out a little bit if you wanted to. And then if you were looking for a pointed ear style, what you would need to do would be take either freestyle lines and draw, oops, that's an arrow, delete that. Use a line, draw a straight line out, and then draw another line, insert another line after that. And there you have your pointed ear style. Okay. Freckles, all you need to do is put small circles, 2 or 3 of them on each cheek to indicate freckles. And I think the rest are pretty self-explanatory. If you have any questions, of course, while you're working on this, you can feel free to ask me. But your baby will start to look something like this. Okay, let's move on to our next stage. Assuming that your Smiley Baby is all finished and you've drawn your pictures, we can move on to our wrap-up. So the wrap-up has 2 pages, and you'll open that document and of course save your answers into it. And page 1 asks, what is the predicted probability that a Smiley Baby will have a green face if both parents are heterozygous? This is where you really get to tell me whether you understand terms like heterozygous and you are still using these features. So if the first one is asking about a green face, you still need to understand that face color is here, yellow is the dominant color, green is the recessive color. You need to show this, you need to use the Punnett square area over here on the side, put in using the correct letter, so that in this case we'd be using Y, you'd put in the correct parents on the outside edge. If they are heterozygous, remember that means 1 capital and 1 lowercase, and then you would fill in the 4 offspring boxes. Over here you are doing the possible genotypes, the possible phenotypes, the genotype ratio, and the genotype percentage. So if we were to do this one together, if we drop the top and slide the side, this would be big Y, big Y. This would be big Y, little y. And again, make sure you have automatic capitalization turned off. Big Y, little y, little y, little y. Possible genotypes. Now we have to remember what the possible phenotypes are. Okay, possible phenotypes. Remember, we're talking about yellow or green faces. Yellow is the dominant. So if there are any capital letters, it would be yellow. 2 lowercase letters would be green. Now the genotype ratio. How many out of these 4 offspring boxes are big Y, big Y? The ratio is written as 1 out of 4. The percentage, if you think of 1 divided by 4, the percentage for that is 25%. The ratio of heterozygous, which remember we're still working on genotypes here, the ratio of heterozygous yellow-faced babies is 2 out of 4, or 50%. And the ratio of green-faced babies is also 1 out of 4, or 25%. And so that gives you an idea of what you're looking for what you're looking to do in part 1, part A of our wrap-up. Make sure that where it says, like number 3, why did you only need to flip the male parent coin to determine the sex of your Smiley Baby, smiley face, that you fill in your answer here, and so on and so forth. Anytime you see a Punnett square, I am looking for that Punnett square to be filled in. Page 2 gives you similar word problems. If you still using the same traits that are on this page here, so make sure you're using the correct letters for whatever trait the problem is asking about, whether it's face color or shape or whatever. And when you are finished with this, make sure when it asks to write a sentence that you write a sentence next to your Punnett square if you need to. When you're finished, save your work, save carefully, and submit. And hopefully this is a nice, easy assignment. If you have any questions, make sure you ask.